Howdy, y'all, and welcome to episode 11 of the Barnyard Banter podcast, where boots meet microphones and agriculture takes center stage.
We're your hosts, Peyton Roberts
and Riley Rinke. We're members of the Axel FFA chapter, and we're on a mission to bring the ag industry to life. One story, one laugh, and one barnyard tale at a time.
Each episode, we'll be chatting with different farmers, ranchers, ag teachers, FFA members, and industry experts out there making a difference in the world of agriculture.
Whether you're hauling hay, feeding calves, planting crops, or simply just curious where your food comes from, this podcast is for you.
So sit back, grab a sweet tea, or hop on the tractor as we take a dive into the wild, wonderful, and sometimes downright muddy world of agriculture. Welcome to Barnyard Banter.
First off, we'd like to thank our amazing guests for joining us today as we take a deep dive into everything Area 8. Peyton, I feel like everyone knows what time it is. It's trivia time, obviously. So here's your question. What is another word for a long-lasting impact?
Riley, is it legacy?
Correct. Good job. And it's actually what we're going to be talking about. So Peyton, would you like to introduce our guest for today?
I would love to. Our first guest today is Tanner Williams. Tanner graduated from Dawson High School. He served as the 2024-2025 Area 8 State Vice President. Tanner is currently a sophomore at Texas A&M, majoring in animal science. Our second guest today is Ty Williams. Ty also graduated from Dawson High School. He served as the 2022-2023 Area 8 State Vice President. He attended Tarleton State University and received his bachelor's degree in Ag Services and Development. He is currently attending Texas A&M in pursuit for his master's in Agriculture Leadership and Communications. Ty, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and y'all's background in agriculture?
Absolutely. Well, first, just thank you for allowing me and my brother to be here. We're honored that you allowing us to be on your podcast. We both think it's super cool. But just a little bit about our background. We both grew up in Dawson, kind of on the outskirts, about 9 miles from the school. And so we weren't too close to the inner city. And so we were able to grow up on a cattle ranch with Black Angus cattle. And that really got us started in the agriculture industry pretty early on. I can remember Tanner and I, whenever we were really young, we used to go to the barn with our athletic shorts on and our boots and stuff to go feed the animals and stuff. So it's pretty funny just to be back and reminiscing on the good old days with Tanner and y'all as well. And so that's just a little bit about our background in agriculture. We've been around it literally ever since we were old enough to walk, and then now we're both currently pursuing degrees in agriculture, and so we're both pretty passionate about it.
Tanner, can you tell us a little more about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So again, my name is Tanner, and I can't, reiterate it enough for thank y'all for having us here and joining y'all here today for this podcast. It's really amazing, and we thank y'all very much for that. So yeah, again, my name's Tanner. I'm currently attending Texas A&M University. I had the privilege to be in the FFA for, I guess it's been since I was in the third grade, showing market lambs and market rabbits. So I've had quite a few years in the FFA, and so thank y'all for that. So like Ty said, grew up very, traditional agriculture based background, cow-calf operation, grew up, on a tractor, raking hay, baling hay, spending time on the ranch with Ty here and my older brother Taylor. And so very rich tradition and very rich background in agriculture. And I'm very appreciative of that and where it's led me today and joining the FFA. And so that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah, so what events did y'all do, and what was y'all's involvement in FFA?
For me, honestly, I did everything that I kind of wanted just to put myself out there and do everything that I possibly could. So when we both started out as junior FFA members, and we were showing sheep and rabbits and show steers and show heifers and all of that good stuff. And then when we finally got to high school, of course, there's all the contests and everything. And that's the exciting part about being in the FFA, because all the contests and you get to be competitive. And so for me, like I said, I just kind of wanted to do everything. And so I started out on quiz because I wasn't really so sure about this whole speaking in front of people thing. And then my ag teacher, like most FFA members can probably resonate with, I was thrown into senior creed speaking, or junior creed speaking, I guess it would be, as a freshman. And so that didn't go as planned, but as I continued on, my skills continued to develop, and I was able to experience all these practice contests, and things kept going in the right direction, thankfully. And so I did public speaking just about every single LDE, CDs. We did just livestock judging. I wasn't the best at it, but that's not what really matters. It's just that I was participating. And so that's just a little bit about the contest that I did. And Tanner was also pretty involved too.
Yeah, I was pretty involved. I guess similar to Ty, I started out, I guess we'll rewind back to freshman year. Started out on the junior skills team, myself and two other girls at Dawson. Very, very interesting contest for me at the time because I wasn't the kid to go out and to speak in front of anybody, really. I was always a nervous wreck. So immediately, as soon as we walk into a room, I start sweating, start getting real heavy, and, not my best times, but I started out with skills and didn't really, I wasn't intrigued by it very much. And so I kind of just left it how it was. I participated in it, but I really wasn't looking forward towards sophomore year. And then coincidentally, sophomore year rolls around, and my ag teacher, Miss Salmon, puts me on the agricultural advocacy team. And that was really the start of something good in my time in the FFA. We advanced to state sophomore, junior, and senior year in agriculture advocacy, and it was such a blessing to be on that team and everybody who's helped us get to that point. But yeah, that's kind of my LDE participation. And CDEs, I was kind of all over the place in CDEs a little bit. I tried a little bit of everything. Got voluntold to do a few things a few times, but I was on the livestock judging team for 3 years. I was a part of the agronomy team for 1 year, and I was a part of the food science team for 2 years. And I was food science, it was something different for me because I never knew you would like sniff or taste stuff in a contest like that before. And, I was always milk judging, but food science was definitely something that I enjoyed a lot junior and senior year. But yeah, that's my CDE contest, my LDE contest participation.
So what inspired each of you to run for state office? We'll start with Ty.
Yeah, it's crazy. Tanner and I were talking on the way over here. Excuse me. We were talking on the way over here, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I graduated high school 4 years ago, and it's just crazy how time flies so fast. And so just reflecting back on that, I guess in 2021, every senior that's really involved in the FFA, like, you're like, well, what's next? Like, I'm about to hang up the jacket of like this incredible organization that I've been so a part of for the last 4 years. And, what's next? How am I going to continue to stay involved in the FFA? And how am I going to continue to give back to the organization that's done so much for me? And so, of course, there's always, you can run for state office, or you can give back the Blue Corduroy Network that the FFA offers when you graduate. There's always tons of ways to give back. But for me, I just felt very led to run for state office. I was obviously, as everyone knows, in Area A, it's pretty competitive. And so there were a couple state officer candidates, and the process was just a little different than what my brother went through. But it happened at the state FFA convention, and it happened at the Sheraton Hotel, and it was a week-long process. And then we found out if we made the state officer team or not in Fort Worth, where convention was held actually this year too, which was pretty cool for Tanner and I as well. Cool. And so I ran for state office in 2021. I ultimately did not get elected. One of my very best friends, Caden, we were area officers together as well, and he was elected to that position, which was super cool for me as well, because that was my best friend. Like, he's also getting to pursue his dream. And so I went off to college, and I kept on continuing to give back to the FFA through participating as a judge in FFA contest. I can remember at Tarleton, we did the interviews with the national officer candidates, which was super cool. One of the highlights of honestly being at Tarleton was getting to meet some of those impeccable FFA members from across the nation. And so I just continued to give back. I got involved in church, made sure that my morals and values were right. And when the time came around again, I guess that was the May of 2022, I finally decided after much prayer and much thought that I wanted to give it one more shot, because I just felt like I wasn't ready to just give it up just yet, just because I felt like there was still a purpose and the Lord was calling me there for some reason. So I wanted to listen to him. And so it wasn't an easy decision, but ultimately I was elected to state office in 2022. And I'm so thankful that I did it, because, you never know what would have happened if I didn't do it, or the experiences that I had, I wouldn't trade them for the world. And so a little bit longer of a journey than Tanner had, but I'm very grateful for the experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
How am I supposed to top that answer? I guess I could say old Ty boy here, he inspired me to run for state office, which, nothing short of the truth there. But I guess for me, running for state office, I was an area officer. I served as an area officer in 2023, 2024, and I met some of my best friends. In fact, I met one of my roommates that year, and currently still my roommate at Texas A&M right now. But I enjoyed area office so much, and I enjoyed being able to connect with the members of Area 8 so much that I decided, why not? Let's give it a shot. I mean, it's an opportunity to make a larger impact on a larger scale at the state level, and that's kind of what led me to run for state office. And during the process, I'm sure a lot of people and individuals remember, it was a very emotional process during that time. Giving speeches, giving interviews, taking tests. And it was a little different from Ty's process. Some may call it easier, some may call it harder. But I was, I thought it was a pretty, emotional time during the process, because you're going up against some of your best friends, some of the competitors who want it just as bad or even more than you, and it's just a difficult time. But at the end of the day, we're all proud of each other, and just completely let God take control. And if it was meant to be, it was, and if it wasn't, then there's a greater plan out there somewhere. And so eventually I got elected, made it to the state level, and what can I say? It's been a year. It's been nothing short of a blessing to be able to serve as a state officer this past year. The opportunities, the connections that we made, it's been amazing. Like, going into area office, and I could have never expected, being a state officer, watching him as a state officer, my brother, I never knew how much you actually could do as a state officer and make such a big impact the way that you can, because you look at, oftentimes a lot of people look at state officers as somebody who's on this pedestal, and somebody who's, like you're scared of them almost. I mean, I'm sure we can all relate to that. We're scared of them, especially when we're at a younger age. But, actually being on the other side, it's a little different. It's really amazing being able to approach members and physically see the impact that you can make if you just take a little time out of your day and go make a conversation, because you never know what they may be going through that day. But yeah, that's kind of what led me to run for state office, and it was nothing short of a blessing for me to be able to serve.
Yeah. So Tanner, seeing your brother as a state officer, what was that like? Yeah.
So I kind of hit it on a minute ago. Watching Ty as a state officer, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little intimidating at first. That's something like I've seen my older brother Ty and my oldest brother Taylor be very successful in FFA. I mean, we have a national champion, a state officer, and then my older brother Taylor was also a national champion, a proficiency award. So to me, I was always kind of that younger brother who always like looked up to them, and was very intimidated and felt very, like I had big, shoes to fill. And for me, I kind of felt a little nervous if, the FFA was going to be for me. Watching him as a state officer, I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. I never thought, that I'd have the same opportunity that he did to do the same things that he did. And, during that time, I was just like, wow, he's really the real deal. And so kind of that's what really I turned that, the comparison into something that I could eventually hope for, or something that I could work towards. growing up, I always wanted to be a baseball superstar. I always thought I was going to go straight to the draft, and that very fortunate for me did not happen. Yeah, it was. We have a lot of inside jokes about that as well, but very fortunate that did not happen for me, and I eventually found my place in the FFA in high school and during my first year of college, and yeah, it's been amazing. And being able to, it's been a very, much of a full circle moment for me to be able to watch him, and me being able to do the same things that he did. And so, yeah, I'm very in this guy right here. I can never, he helped me along the way. Also, we spent hours, like weeks, months studying, preparing, and my ag teacher. And so, soon that intimidation and, the anxiety that was previously there was soon kind of outweighed by hope and love from those around me that have prepared me for that.
Yeah. So on that like full circle topic, Ty, what was that full circle like experience for you after Tanner being elected?
Yeah, I actually, funny enough, whenever the day Tanner was elected was the same day that I graduated from Tarleton. And so I actually wasn't there whenever he was elected at the area level, and he missed my college graduation. But, honestly, like that far surpassed anything that could have happened that day at graduation. Like, I remember Tanner calling me, and we were actually currently headed to my cousin's graduation, and I had to pull over because I was like in immediate tears with my grandparents in the car, and they're like, "What's wrong, Ty? Like, what's wrong?" And I was like, "Tanner was just elected to state office. Like, this is incredible." Like, it still brings tears to my eyes even today. Honestly, I'm just super proud of him. Like, he talks about comparison, and he talks about how he had big shoes to fill, but honestly, Tanner's younger than us, but we often look up to him too for just his courage and his wisdom and his kindness towards other people. And so it has been a really big full circle moment, and I'm super proud of him. And speaking of emotional, we're all three very emotional human beings, literally crying all the time, just happy tears most of the time. But at convention on July 4th, when Tanner gave his RA, like, I could not stop crying, uncontrollably crying. Like, I had puffy eyes. I'm just so proud of him and the work that he's done for Texas FFA. So it has been a full circle moment, and I'm super glad we got to share the experience together.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
So what was your favorite memory from being in the FFA together?
That's a good one.
I'll let you take it first.
Well, Ty and I had the privilege of being in the FFA together. I guess it was during my freshman year of high school, and he was a senior at the time. So we made quite a few memories that year. And then, of course, whenever he was a state officer and I was still in high school as a member, I would say one of my favorite memories with my brother Ty would definitely have to be whenever we were showing. So we showed lambs all throughout his high school career. But we went to Fort Worth one year. I think I was maybe in the 7th or 8th grade, and we were showing in Fort Worth, showing our lambs, and I remember looking over. I was still pretty young. I still had a lot to learn for sure. My ag teacher, Miss Salmon, was with me as well. But I remember us walking and approaching the lamb barn, and I look over and I see these really tall skyscrapers, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's Dallas!" And so I'm like, "Wow!" And so soon I was corrected and realized that was not Dallas. In fact, that was Fort Worth that I was looking at, and they never let me down. That never has let me down to this day. They still give me a hard time about it, but it turned out to be a great stock show. Turned out to be awesome. We both showed our lambs very well. But yeah, that's definitely probably been one of my funniest and one of my favorite memories during my time in the FFA and showing with Ty.
Yeah, I can confidently say Tanner saying that question. He's directionally challenged, to say the least, and so we still give him a really hard time about that. But yeah, it's okay. We still love him. So.
All right, so on the memory topic, what was y'all's favorite experience or memory from being a state officer?
That's also a good question because there's so many. My teammates, and hopefully none of them hear this because they're going to give me a really hard time about this because they do all the time still to this day. But some of the greatest memories, honestly, is whenever our LDC, Miss George, she made it almost like every time she made it a note to make sure that we weren't staying in a hotel. Like she wanted us to stay in a house. So that way, we could get up, we could cook breakfast, like we could like have a good time with each other, and just all these good things before we got our day started. And we can spread out like whenever we were doing workshop, facilitation, whatever it may look like that day. But so honestly, one of my favorite memories was staying in the Airbnb with my teammates because, we stayed up late, we woke up early, like all these fun memories were inside of there. I remember, I think we were staying in New Braunfels one time, and my teammate Laura, she went outside and nobody could find her. Like we literally thought like she vanished, like something happened to her. And 5 minutes later, she comes up walking with one of these stray cats in her hands, and she's like, I found a cat. Like it's just it's kind of like a dumb story, but it's also just funny because it's just little things like that you remember forever. It's not really this big monumental thing, but I just definitely appreciated those memories there. And of course, all the memories with the members. Speaking of Axtell, that was one of my chapter highlights that whenever we were talking about it as a team, just the members at y'all's chapter just truly care about each other. And it was so evident that we were there, and that just the loving and the kindness that everyone showed and poured out to us, just even in Area 8, was just impeccable. And so I would also say that's at the top of my list for memories. And I could say so many more, but those probably are just some of my top two.
Turner, what about you? What was your favorite memory or experience from your time in state office?
There was a lot of favorite memories and experiences during state office. I'll kind of go more on a serious note here. One of the opportunities that we had during state office, and a lot of people don't really see it a lot either, but the business and industry tours that we did during state office were incredible. I could not thank Miss Jackson and Texas FFA and everybody who has set that up for us whenever we did those. I remember a few months ago we had the opportunity to go and visit the 4-6's ranch, which that was nothing short of incredible for me because that's always been, a lot of people, they know that ranch and they want to go to that ranch and they hear about it. And it was really, really amazing to be able to go there, be able to visit with some of their veterinarians, some of their cowboys that work there, and being able to really, experience and see like head on the traditional agriculture that we advocate for every single day. So I would definitely say that one of my favorite experiences and opportunities that we have had to do in the FFA was the business and industry tours, because I think they provide a lot of value to members, and I think they really open up a lot of career paths and maybe something that we'd be interested in doing.
Sure.
So on a more serious note, what were some of the challenges you faced during your time in FFA, and how did y'all overcome them?
You want me to take it? You can go first, yeah.
So it's one of the challenges.
Yes.
I would say for me, one of the challenges that I've probably faced the most during my FFA, and thoughts that began to roll through my mind while, doing contests or being at a chapter meeting or just anything related to FFA, would definitely have to be kind of what I mentioned earlier, comparison, and really just having like a unsure feeling if this is where I'm supposed to be. As I mentioned earlier, I've had a lot of good role models in my life, and I've had a lot of people to look up to. And oftentimes in life, not just FFA, but in life, we find ourselves comparing, ourselves to other people. And I've always heard that comparison is the thief of joy during those times. And so that was probably one of my, issues that I struggled with the most, and I had to overcome it. I had to realize that I'm my own person. I'm perfectly imperfect, and that I may not be as, for instance, public speaking was a big thing for me that I had to overcome. I was not the best public speaker. I remember going into my very first public speaking contest, blanking out. My student teacher was the judge, and I completely just forgot my speech, and I was like, well, okay, that was not very good. And so, yeah, that's definitely something that I've had to overcome a lot of, and hitting back on that, not feeling like I belong in the FFA. There's been a lot of times where I've, really just thought, what am I doing right now? Like, what am I doing here? like, what's the point of this? And then that's kind of whenever I start to, remember like why I'm actually doing this. And there's definitely a lot of times too, I can definitely attest, and Ty can probably agree with me on this. There's times during state office where we felt very tired, drained, and worn out. And it's really then when you have to dig deep and, find out why you're really here, why you really want to make an impact. And that's really something that helped, drive me and fuel me to keep going. And so definitely, just making sure why I'm there, making sure like, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is how I was raised, and this is how I'm going to, continue to do better. And so that's really some of the experiences that I've had that have kind of helped me along the way and shaped me into who I am today.
Yeah, I can certainly agree with Tanner that, and I've already said this before, but we both compare ourselves to other people. I mean, honestly, everybody in this room and everybody who's listening can probably agree with that comparing yourself to other people gets you nowhere. And so that's definitely something I think we've all struggled with, but I did struggle with that as well. But one of the things that I really had to overcome was my competitiveness. I'm sure a lot of people can agree with that. I come from a very competitive family. Everybody likes to win. Everybody wants to be the best. And so that was something that I truly struggled with. And of course, everybody still has their tendencies that they get really competitive and they say something they didn't mean to say. Especially in sports. I was not a sports person, but that comes to fruition a lot in sports. But in the FFA, I grew up with a very competitive class too. My cousin Lexi, and there were a few others in there that we were very competitive with each other, and we always wanted to be first. And whenever I didn't win, and whenever I was kind of young and I didn't understand the importance that winning is not everything, I would get very upset. I would get very upset at that person because they beat me or they were first in the class, or I'm sure many people can understand where I'm coming from with that. But as I grew older and I had more experiences, and I found that winning wasn't everything. Of course, it's amazing to get a banner at a public speaking contest, or it's amazing to get a belt buckle at a stock show. But truly, at the end of the day, 4 years later from now, sitting here just talking with y'all, what does that matter? Yes, it's cool to have, but does there any significance behind all of that after you hang up your blue and gold jacket? And so my perspective has definitely changed over the years. Winning is not everything. Winning is cool, but there's much greater things in life to look forward to, like the fellowship that you have at those contests, or the experiences and the people that you meet. And so that's something that I've struggled with, competitiveness and a comparison as well. But competitiveness it's a real thing, and it's something that's not really talked about a lot because some people might think that it's an ego problem. But I think competitiveness is a good thing, but if you have it under control.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't really touched on that topic yet. It's more of different challenges, but competitiveness, we haven't talked about that. That was good.
Thank you.
So how do y'all think you represent small town Texas while navigating a statewide role, and what message would you give to students from small FFA chapters who may not think they can reach the state level in either a contest or state office?
Peyton said this earlier, but Tanner and I are from Dawson, and very similar to Axel. It's kind of a smaller school. We are 2A. I think in my graduating class, I had 39 kids, and so pretty small. But I think that the most important thing, regardless of the size of the city you grow up in, I mean, even if you're in inner city Houston and you have 600 graduating classmates, I think the most important thing that you recognize is the morals and the values that the people around you have set before you. Tanner and I, we were very fortunate to grow up with a family that had us in church, and we were doing all these things in our community, and they set just love and kindness at the forefront of our minds all the time. And so just being able to go out and portray those characteristics and just love on people has definitely made me appreciate being from Dawson. It's a very tight-knit community. And so and also having an ag teacher like Miss Salmon, who is now no longer at Dawson, but she's making a huge impact, even at a smaller school now. That has truly made me recognize the importance of just making sure that you know your roots and keeping them at the forefront of your minds. Because, I mean, there's state officers all the time. I mean, the no stranger to Axtell, Corey Sincooley, who was a student teacher there a couple years ago, he was from Penelope, and that's even smaller than both of our schools, and he was the state president. And so he served as a huge inspiration to me whenever I was running for state office, whenever I had that thought in my mind that, well, I'm from too small of a school. Like, there's no way I'm going to make state office. Like, we don't have the votes. But ultimately, like, the good Lord is going to provide where he wants to provide, and it's all up to him to figure out the rest for us.
Yeah, that was a great answer. I guess to really add on to that, kind of like Ty said, we grew up in a very tight-knit community. Our grandparents, our parents, our family has really instilled kindness and love and caring and really any characteristic that you can think that portrays leadership into us at a young age. And, growing up in that small community and being able to, grow up on a traditional agricultural operation has been nothing short of beneficial for myself and Ty. And when we've been very fortunate to serve on the state level and show those characteristics to the whole state of Texas. And so I really think oftentimes it's the people who not necessarily have the biggest school or who don't, have the most numbers for voting, who can make the biggest difference. It's, it's really about the quality candidate, the quality person that, there is. And it just happened for us to be in a small town, and we're very appreciative for that. And always stay true to your roots. That's great.
Yeah, so lastly, what legacy do you each hope to leave behind?
That's also a really hard and thoughtful question. I'll let Tanner go first. He seems eager to answer this one.
Yes. So legacy, as many of you probably know, is probably our theme at convention this year. We put a lot of thought behind that theme, and we thought it best suited it because, after all, convention was held in Fort Worth, like Ty mentioned earlier. Very blessed to have it in Fort Worth, by the way. The hospitality there is amazing. They all treated us with kindness, and not only that, but they also supported what we were doing. And it's really nice to be in a town that supports Western heritage and that supports agriculture in general. But legacy for me, the legacy that I want to leave behind, really, I talked about it a little bit previously. The legacy that I hope to leave behind is ultimately just showing people that, no matter where you're from, no matter where you're at in life, that you can still accomplish things if you just hold on to your faith, your hope, and your love. You got to have faith. I mean, that's the first step. You have to make sure that you believe in yourself, that you're confident in yourself, and you have to hold on to that hope despite failures that you may encounter in life. And love, you have to lean on the love of those around you, those who support you, those who show up for you every day, and those who will answer a phone call in an emergency and show up for you and be there for you. And so really, that's the legacy that I hope to leave behind in kids, is to really believe in yourself and love those around you, because I truly think that's important. And while it may be very simplistic, I think that it's very valuable as well.
Yeah. I was thinking back, just sitting here listening to Tanner, I was thinking about my RA and what I said in that moment, and it still stands true today, even a couple years later. I think just not only as FFA members, but just human beings on this earth, we all are going to experience an obstacle in life. I mean, some are more bigger than others, and some are larger than others, some are smaller than others. But it's the fact that you have to keep pushing forward. One of those, I mean, honestly, right now, like, there's many obstacles that many of us are facing, whether you're in high school, you're an adult, you're in college, many battles that we go through each and every day that many people don't even know about. And so I'm a huge advocate for mental health because it's such a big thing in our community these days. And I just want students to know, even as a future ag teacher, never give up on yourself. The Lord has an ultimate plan for all of us. And so I hope that each and every person listening to this knows that you do have a purpose, and don't give up no matter how hard the obstacle might get. I can remember in my FFA experiences that some of these contests that I went to where I didn't perform as well, like it would have been easy to give up, but that's not what we were raised to do, is give up. And so I hope that just serves as a source of hope for people out there listening to just never give up on the things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, that's great. So now we're going to move on to some more like fun questions. And so we're going to do a quick fire round. These are for you, Ty. For your favorite ag class?
Oh, principles of agriculture.
Beach or mountains?
The beach.
Official dress or show clothes?
Probably show clothes.
And then favorite FFA contest?
I would say public relations.
All right, Tanner, favorite ag class?
I would probably say it's supposed to be quick, right? I don't know. There was a lot of classes where I just got to go sit in and hang out. I'd probably say floral design.
Country or city?
Country.
Favorite FFA contest?
Agricultural advocacy.
And then lastly, official dress or show clothes?
Official dress.
All right. It is now time for the Barnyard Banter Ag Report. Payne?
A growing focus on sustainability is reshaping the Christmas tree industry, with eco-conscious consumers, particularly younger generations, favoring real trees over artificial ones due to their lower environmental impact. Real trees are biodegradable, locally grown, and often recycled into mulch or used in conservation efforts, while artificial trees are typically made from petroleum-based plastics and imported from overseas, making them less sustainable and less reused for many years. Many Christmas tree farms are adopting environmentally friendly practices such as integrated pest management, drip irrigation, and soil conservation techniques, and are selecting native or climate-resilient tree varieties to reduce chemical inputs and water usage. Additionally, agritourism experiences like Cut Your Own Tree events and holiday farm tours are helping consumers connect with the sustainable value of real trees. Industry organizations and some local governments are supporting this push with educational programs, recycling initiatives, and eco-certifications. As a result, sustainability has become a powerful marketing tool for growers, who increasingly promote their trees as local, renewable, and environmentally responsible, aligning with a broader shift toward greener holiday traditions.
All right, Payne, looking ahead, how can our listeners get involved or even suggest topics they want to hear?
If you want to get involved with the Barnyard Banter podcast, you can follow us on our Spotify and YouTube page at barnyard.banter.podcast, linked below. And if you want to suggest future topics or guests that you'd like to see, you can DM us on our Instagram page at the same handle.
All right, Ty, Tanner, what is one piece of advice you would like to give someone if they're currently in their journey in FFA?
One piece of advice I would give to somebody. There's so much infinite wisdom I could give. I would say one piece of advice that I would probably give to somebody who is still currently in the FFA is to probably just take advantage of every single opportunity that is present in the moment. There have been times in my experience in the FFA where I wasn't fully invested or I wasn't fully sure if I wanted to do something. And looking back now, I would tell anybody to just do it. I would tell my younger self to do it and to stay involved, because you never know what you might get yourself into. You never know what career you may find, passionate for you. And so I think that just being able to jump in head first, get involved, stay involved, and find what you like is very important, especially in the FFA with this, have a very broad opportunity for careers. And so I would really just say just get involved and to stay involved and to really just find what you like.
What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I would just going off of that, I'll answer in a different way, but I would say just never say no. Keep going. Like, even if it's something you're unsure about, never say no. You're going to get voluntold most likely to do it anyway, so just go ahead and say yes. But I would say the thing for me, for any FFA member, whether you're a freshman or you're a senior about to enter in that year of your last year in the FFA, I would say just appreciate where you are. There's so much value in just understanding the place that you're at in the moment. Even if you're just at a public speaking contest or you're sitting in a principles of ag class and maybe you're not even doing so much, but just appreciate where you are in that moment, because there's something there that is meant to be for you. And so don't miss that by trying to look ahead. And so that would be my piece of advice for any FFA member.
That's great advice. Thank you.
So how can our listeners contact you if they have any questions or want to know more about anything that y'all said during the podcast?
You can at any time, one phone call away, one text message away. If you don't have our phone numbers personally, we definitely have socials out there on whether it's on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is. You can reach out. Tanner Williams, Ty Williams. Surely you'll find us. We look a lot alike, so maybe confusing, but you'll have to definitely look at the names to tell us apart. But you can reach out at any time if you have any questions regarding today, this podcast, FFA in general, life, college, family, whatever it is. We're always willing to listen and help you out.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast.
We are excited about our upcoming episodes coming out on the first and third Mondays of every month.
Next on our podcast, we'll be covering all things agriculture education.
Thanks for listening.
Peace, love, ag.